Hello and welcome. Such an incredible time that we are in. Approaching the winter solstice. It is one of the best times of the year. Winter and summer solstices because it's a time of transformation. Because it is a time when we have these opportunities that we can make the most of to transform our experience, to step in to the next level of our lives, to come into more alignment with our soul, with life itself. All right. Learning to dance with instead of, pushing against, which can be really, really tiring. So 7 practices to do this winter solstice. Let's dive right in. I'm so incredibly excited for this time because this is a time of transformation, and I made previous videos, same rituals, 7 rituals to do. But what came up this year is 7 practices, things that it is so important to do right now, but also things that you may want to incorporate in the next few weeks or months. So I will be looking at the notes that, came out and just like boom, 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 7 practices that really were downloaded so clearly. And that's what I'm sharing with you here. So the first one, inhaling in, and I want us to take a deep inhale in after each one to really like ground and feel into it. Like from a blank canvas, you can feel into it like, okay, how do I feel about this practice, right? When you have so many different things, you can't. So I need you to feel into each one for you to get, which one will be serving you the best and acting on that one. Don't try to do all 7 of them because that can be a lot. So inhaling into that. Exhaling out. All right. The first one, intention. And it's important to set, right? It's like it's a new year and we set these new targets or who I want to be, or worse, I've made several videos on this when people are like, oh, I don't want to be this anymore. Great. What do you want to be? I don't know, but not this. And then they don't set a clear new persona. So therefore their mind just defaults back to the old way of being, and that's not working. That's not what they want. So what is your intention? Why do you want what you want? This is so important because a lot of people don't go into that. They're like, oh, I want a yacht, or I want a family, or I want this. Like, why do you want? Because the why gets you to the bottom of the frequency that you're looking to achieve. So it's very significant to understand this because that shows you where you're going. Okay, what is the intention? And this is the power of this. During the winter and the summer solstice is setting the intention, especially if you're just doing it once a year. Right now is the time. It's the rebirth of the sun god. And I'm not going to go into the history of the solstice and the traditions of it because I have other videos on this channel about it. But I want to get really practical because it's so important right now. Times are accelerating. And you need to keep up with it. You need to energetically learn how to keep up with it. Because it's just gonna like, if you don't know how to ride the wave, those waves are gonna just crash you and destroy you. All right. So this is why I'm creating this video. This is why this is really important. And the first one is intention. Why do you want what you want? Okay. What is your why for doing it? So taking a deep inhale in, exhaling out. The second one ties in with the first one because you need the second one to be able to create the first one. And you can go ahead and create your intention from the mind to begin with. But the second one is connection to the mother, to the divine mother, to the elements, to nature, to the divine father. I'm speaking more from the shamanic perspective, divine father, the air element, divine mother, the earth element that nourishes you and supports you. Connecting to that, connecting to your origins. In Thrive, in the monthly membership, we did an incredible workshop this year that was about cord cutting, and it's available for those of you if it resonates and you want to join Thrive. It's in the library, so you guys absolutely have access to this incredibly powerful practice of cutting the cords. And what came during this practice that I've done before, but it's never been done quite like this, because as we cut those, it's like the lines were like, oh, they're roots that we created sideways, but we were never supposed to root to other people. The rooting that we actually didn't grow, right, that we came here knowing that that's the rooting we're actually supposed to focus on, but we didn't, is above, Father Sky, the air element, and below, Those are the roots that you're actually supposed to have. That is the nourishment you're supposed to receive. and not from other people who are also lost. Okay. So reconnecting to the mother, you can start with the intention from the mind, but it's so important to connect back to nature, connect back to you, to your source, in order to either shift that intention or to get clear on this intention. Like I said in the first example, you may want this thing, but not actually understand why you want it. And when you get into the feeling, especially after reconnecting with the earth, after reconnecting with your essence, after reconnecting with life, you may actually understand what it's really about. All right. So the second one is connection to the Divine Mother and the elements. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Okay. The third, after you've said the intention, because if you don't have a clear intention by this point, you're going to be in trouble. The winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere is the invitation to, experience the dark night of the soul, to really look at the shadow, to really sit with it. And I can't help but smile because we're kind of like, oh God, I don't want that. And I was in this place. And then when you come into the right relationship, you're like, yeah, I get to sit with my shadow. I get to build more intimacy. I get to sit with this crap that was coming up. And you're not afraid of it. You're like, and it's such a worthy opponent. And not even an opponent, but like we get to have fun and we get to create intimacy within ourselves when we sit with those parts of ourselves. So a powerful practice to do is reconnect with your soul, with your essence. And to reconnect with your soul, you have to go through the shadow. You have to go through the ego, all right? You have to go through the vulnerable, holding the vulnerable parts of you. And this is absolutely what I do with my one-on-one clients. And if this is something that you want to okay, this is the time, I'm done running. I'm ready to take control of my life. We can get on a free clarity call. The link is down below and you can see if it resonates and so on. So, if that's where you want to dive into, there's absolutely that invitation. But also during that time around the solstice, Friday, Saturday, just taking about an hour maybe and just sitting with yourself and what have I been running away from? What is standing in the way of my truth, right? And not from the mind, but allowing this to come from your essence, allowing this to come from your body, okay? And seeing what comes as a result of that. And so much is available. The resources are so available to you right now at this time. Like I said, the solstice are really powerful times. And this, such a powerful full moon that we just had. We're about to have the new moon right after. And the solstice is right in the middle of this year. And incredible energies. The invitations are there. Are you taking it? Are you going to be still in this place months, years from now, still not feeling quite it, still not being able to access it quite right, feeling the guidance, but for it to be blocked, right? And it takes accepting this invitation, sitting with. So let's take a deep inhale into that. Exhaling out. All right. Number 4. I love this one. It's so important. This is a powerful time to look at your values. And not just looking at them, first of all, creating them in a hierarchy, right? It's like not just, okay, these are nice. What is the hierarchy of your values? That is very important. Because if you have, let's say, family and adventure as 2 values that are really important, what is the hierarchy? Because you may have a lot of times in your life where those values are conflicting. And when you understand, okay, family comes, number 2 and adventure is number 3, 4, then that makes it easier because you know that family comes first, right? Or the other way around. It makes it easier to make decisions. And so going over your values, what do you stand for? What do you choose to embody during the year? And one mistake that people commonly make is that they write their values as a to-do list. Like, I'm not living up to any of those, but this is the person that I would like to be. This is not the way to do it because you're going to burn out. There's something that you're completely not living up to, that you have no idea how to bring into your life, and you're trying to complete all of them, and you're trying to live up to them, and you're just going to end up never feeling good enough. What are your current values? What is important to you right now? And if you want to bring in an extra quality, you're welcome to do that. I personally do it every 6 months. I sit in the meditative state and ask for a quality that is to be integrated into my life for the next 6 months and receive that. And it's not necessarily one of my values, but it is a quality that I'm looking to integrate. And then, when I revise my values, if it's one that I would want to add, I can. So remembering that the values is not a to-do list. It's what am I already living? And it gets you closer to who you are now. And that foundation is crucial to build up, right? So inhaling in, writing your top 5 values in their hierarchy, exhaling out, letting that go. Number 5, this is the mind. The mind loves these because it's really organized and it's very like hands-on. Number 5 is a life blueprint, okay? Or part of this is also, because there's so many things that are included in a life blueprint, right? It's what do you want to achieve? It's part of this is your values, right? It's like, it's things that identifying, we're doing that in Thrive as well. We have a call at the end of the year. This is an amazing time to sign up, by the way, to set you up for this. What we're doing is quarterly planning and a plan for the year. What are the things you want to accomplish, but also what are the things that worked in the previous year? And scheduling those out, let's say like, okay, the self-care practice really working, or taking 30 minutes to just read something that has nothing to do with my occupation and what I'm doing in my life. Like every Wednesday, 30 minutes, that works. Create some pillars for the home, for the roof. Because like if you have these columns, like it's great when there's no rain and you can go outside, but when there is rain, when there's a shitstorm, do you have something holding up the roof? And those pillars is what you have to have set in place. What worked? What made me feel good? And don't just start building those up when it's raining. It's difficult. Do it on a sunny day, right? So that when it is raining, when there's a shitstorm, you can go and you have those pillars holding that roof on top of you. So creating this life blueprint is really, really important for the year. And part of this as well, because I don't want to make many more points than 7, part of it is an altar, a sacred space in your home where you can just root and ground. And I have, I believe, the Winter Solstice, the rituals for the Winter Solstice, which there's going to be a link below in the description. I believe that speaks as well about the altar, and mine, has the 4 elements. Your altar can be a piece of driftwood, okay? A picture that is significant to you, a candle. But really being mindful of that and creating a sacred space, because spaces like this help us ground, it helps us root, it helps us come into us, all right? And this is really, really important to thrive. A tree can't grow up if it doesn't have deep roots that grow down, okay? So really important. Let's take an inhale into that. Exhaling out. Number 6. The dark night of the soul is an invitation to create family within you, to go inward, to love all parts of you, to connect with what some may call an inner child. Some may just call it, the yin-yang, coming into balance with yourself. And part of this is also togetherness. How do you embody that outside of you? How are you coming together with the people outside of you? So whether that is family, whether that is friends, reaching out to some people that feel like home, or maybe some people you don't know quite well, but you're like, I don't know, there's a good energy about them. And reaching out to those people, it's a time of togetherness as within, so without, it's a time of wholeness. It's a time of, this is a little bit out there, but I'm not sure how it's going to be received, but everything in your room, and not even just living plants, anything has an energy. And coming into balance with, I know for me, the sacred spaces in the room, like I'm in my office right now, and, this vase may say, I don't really like being here. I don't belong here. I don't come in with the energetics of the other objects. Like I have no purpose here. And this too is togetherness. This too is wholeness, because it's the wholeness of the space, if that makes sense. What I've really received with this one is togetherness, and you can translate it in different aspects, including simply the space. What is the energy of togetherness looks like in your life, in your environment during this time. Taking an inhale into that. Exhaling out. Togetherness and reconnection. Yeah, that's what it was. So just shaking that one out. And here we are at number 7, the 7th practice. And again, noticing that all of these are kind of those to do once a month at least, There are practices that are absolutely emphasized to start the new year for the solstice, but there are also those that is really important to come back to at least once a month. So number 7, life. The dance of life. It's about receiving and also about giving, and receiving and giving and receiving and giving, and energy has to move. But a lot of us don't do that because we receive and we're like, hold it because it's going to leave. Or we give, and understand that we don't actually have anything to give because we're not receiving from ourselves even, right? Or we're reluctant in giving, okay? So many of us, most of us, have some kind of receiving block. We don't want to receive. Or we feel like, oh, we have to give it right away, right? We have to give something else. And a lot of us don't have this healthy dance with life, this energies of giving and receiving and giving and receiving. And these are the invitations to come into right now, because it's a time of balance. Really, one would say that the equinoxes are more of a time of giving and receiving in a sense of balancing. The masculine, the energy, the giving and receiving, it's a time of balance. But that's not just... it's not just during the equinoxes. It's every one of these, every 3 months, whether it's the equinoxes, whether it's the solstices, it's an invitation to remember that balance and honoring which house you're in a sense that equinox, spring and fall, we're in this balance, right? And then it's going here. And then it's another equinox, and then it's going here. And another equinox, and like this, right? And right now we're, depending where you are in the world, and that's the beauty of it, because even here life set it up in such a way that it's not okay, it's just black and white. No, for some of us, half the planet is experiencing one side of the pole and the other is experiencing the opposite of it. Some of us are experiencing the lightest day, right? Like the most energy available. And then some of us are going into the darkest night of the year, right? The most dark time of your life, of your experience of the year. So even here, it's not black and white, and it's the balance. And coming into the balance while being so honoring and devotional to which house are you in right now? Are you in the house of darkness, of moon? Or are you in the house of the sun and light, right? And it's not that one is bad, the other, it's not like that. It's that they have different messages. So the invitation for balance, the invitation for, giving and receiving. I'm just feeling the energy. I'm like, what was the statement again? Practicing this, embodying this. How are you doing with both sides of it? And noticing where you're at. And let me know in the comments, by the way, which one's easier for you? Is it the giving? Is it the receiving? From 1 to 10, 1 being like, not at all. 10, mastered it. How are you doing with the balancing of these energies, right? One's like completely out of balance. And the other one's like, yeah, I mastered it. I can, the dance is happening here. Full force, very equal. That would be a 10. So let me know how you're doing. And let me know which one of the practices resonated. And like I said, this is something to bring to awareness every month, right? And especially during this powerful time. I began the year with disconnecting, the solstice year from the 21st, disconnecting for 10 days and just going inward. And it originally began as Vipassana and just, meditating 10 hours per day for 10 days. And then transition to more feminine practice of, okay, wait, no, music is allowed because it's expression, or dance is allowed, and still a lot of hours of meditation, and very rigid structure, and still kind of disconnecting from the regular life, but in a different way. So, finding what is that balance for you, and what does going inward in the most beneficial way look like for you. And this is where it can get tricky because sometimes the mind will bypass. But setting an intention, I want to reconnect with my soul. I want to live a soul-led life. What does that look like? And that guidance will come. And if you want more support on this, I am opening a few spots for my one-on-one self-mastery program, which is a 3-month container, and we go deep. Like it's a boot camp, but I'm there to support you and to walk you through it. So if this is what you want to check out, we can get on a free clarity call, and that is in the description below. I thank you so, so much for being here, for doing this work, and I'm wishing you a happy solstice, happy holidays, incredible time with yourself, with your loved ones, and remembering to amplify that self-care. Much love.